Hello, welcome back to Two Cells One Pack. Guess what we have behind us? Oh, but most likely you show on the title. Anyway, we got our...
Well, not ours, but we got a V14.
We gotta open it. It's here now. Okay, let's give it a look. Exciting.
We will, yeah. So InMotion has started using these, I call them TV style boxes. So you just have to remove these clips, and then you can lift up the wheel.
What do you mean lift up the wheel?
Lift up the box, so that the wheel's standing in the box.
Whoa,
So you get like a more interesting unboxing.
interesting. It's all about experience right now. Drop it down. Open the package.
So
Oh, it has instruction.
make sure that everything.
Yes.
Ta-da! Higher, higher, higher.
Okay.
Seems like something's in there.
That's it.
Oh, charger.
And tools.
And manual. And cable. And fairing plates.
I see.
And screws. And bumpers. Ooh, this orange. Oh, this shock looks really nice.
Okay.
Ta-da! But there's no batteries.
Oh. Okay. That's okay. You can look at it.
Let's do a quick look. Oh, it looks like the kickstand. We got. Ooh, this is a hefty kickstand for plastic.
It is.
It is quite hefty. You got a nice little display. So we've unboxed it. We've put it on the stand. What are your first impressions?
I don't like it.
Why?
It doesn't look cute.
It doesn't look cute, but I think it would stand up to some good damage. So these pedals are a little bit
I
thin.
don't like the pedal.
They kind of remind me of like the S22 pedals. So that's something that I would upgrade. I don't have a set of Begode pedals, but I wonder if the pedal hanger looks like it's wider. So I don't think it will fit Begode pedals. So you may need to find a set of InMotion pedals for this wheel. If we look at the phase wires, it looks nice and chunky, nice and thick. Now, this stanchion looks like, the slider looks like it's cast. So, yeah, I mean, there's supposed to be some automotive grade bushings inside. The plastic pieces, a lot of plastic on this wheel. You got a plastic fender on both front and back, but it is a good durable style of plastic. So firstly, this tire is a 3.00-12 tire. It is made by, I think it was Carrystone, which the tread looks very similar to the top station that was put on the Patent, as well as the Extreme. This mudguard is plastic, but it looks like it's pretty strong plastic and pliable, and it shouldn't rattle, so it's kind of like a nylon plastic. Now this phase wire does look really beefy, which is really nice to see, but there's a couple things that concern me. One is this vertical pillar is cast, and it looks here like they've spider-legged these mounting holes out. So I'd like to see in the long run how durable these end up being. Again, the pedal hanger is similar to the Begode design of the Master, But if you look at it from the side profile, you can see that they really thinned it out. So my question would be, again, durability wise, or how strong it is, because there's a lot of gaps here that they've cut out. So strength will be a concern. Now, with the vertical pillars as well as the suspension stanchion, Begode ones I believe are CNC'd, but these ones are all cast. So we'll just have to wait and see how it is. Looks like they did use the same vertical pillar on both sides, so there is a routing for the motor cable on the other side of the motor as well, which if you're doing a tire change, some people could confuse because there's routing for the motor cable on both sides. Just make sure you don't do that. Now this rear fender actually comes out quite nicely. It looks like there's a screw here for maybe you can attach an extra rubber one. Maybe it's in the box when we build the wheel. I have to say this shock linkage and damper looks really nice. You have the rebound control, rebound damping for fast and slow, and you have compression up here with the extra reservoir. And then you have a progressive spring. So it looks like they've done a lot of good work. The other thing too is this stanchion actually comes out. So the mounting point for the suspension is quite far out. Now I wonder if when this compresses, how close this reservoir will get to that taillight. This back handle looks to be great. At least you won't smash your fingers on it, unlike the Begode products. But I have to say this taillight looks really cheap. It just doesn't look refined. So if you look in here, you can see that all their pieces are just cast pieces. So I'll just see their casting quality. But so they have the metal frame that's just covered by a lot of plastic, which is very InMotion. So you got plastic everywhere. But I will say that I kind of like the plastic. Maybe not the color, but I kind of like the plastic because it means that if you get into an accident and you scratch the plastic, you can replace the plastic because it's cheap. So maybe it'll be $30 a piece or $20 a piece, and easily replaceable means that your wheel could be looking like new for longer. Now, unlike the Extreme, I believe the charge ports are up here. What kind of charge port is that? Looks like they're using a 4-pin, 16-4 maybe. Looks a bit narrower than a 20. It's good that they're using a different pin. I wish that all the manufacturers could standardize within the same voltage for convenience. So like how the V13 and S22 and Patton all use the same plug, and all the 100-volt wheels use the same plug. I kind of wish that InMotion used the same plug that Begode uses, just so that you don't have proprietary charging cables. Now the trolley handle looks very like Extreme Bull Commander. Like it kind of reminds me of the trolley poles in my Commander back in the day. It's also quite wiggly. This grab handle is actually in a really nice position, however. And a good thing is that if you look in here, this headlight has these 2 screws that you can adjust the height of the headlight. But what I will say is if you ever want to tighten those screws, you got to remove all the plastic pieces just to tighten the screws. So they had drilled a small hole here for you to access a Allen key into. It could be very convenient. I do like this touch of plastic here as a bumper, because you're going to access this point and the front handle before you break your beautiful orange plastics. And these here, actually we'll go to the front. And these here are the waterproof connectors. So there are 2 pins for the the power, and then 2 pins for the BMS communication. So these are all screw-ins. These are very nice connectors, I will say. Now it'll be very interesting to see if anybody chooses to ride with not all 4 packs, even though that's what their markings say you can do. I don't see why someone would do that. But overall, it looks like a well put together wheel. Like I'm not a big fan of the orange color. but I think that there's a black version coming out too. So if you don't like the orange, you can always get the black version. So the only thing I will say is these trolley handles poles look very similar to the one I used to have on the Extreme Bull Commander, and they're not known to be that strong. And then they are held in by just some small Phillips screws at the top. So I definitely would not lift this wheel by the trolley handle. And you can see that when it's fully extended, there's some play. Now let's go in and remove these panels and see what we can find out. So the clip in. There you go. So there's some clips around the edge that keep it secure, but it is just some, I mean, I like the built-in ergonomic filler here that actually really soft and pliable. So that's a good touch. And there's the structure of the V14. So instead of having the pole go straight up into the casting and secured down by 2 screws, that's how Big O does it. They've just done a clamp where there's 4 screws here, and it just C-clamps onto the frame of the controller. You know what this reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of like the Halo energy sword. You can like stab someone. Sorry, that's a bit off topic. Shows you how old I am. So yeah, these connectors do look really good. I did notice here, if you look into the headlight right here, there's some messy silicone work done on this motor phase wire. But other than that, it's pretty clean. What kind of screws are these? They look like 3 mil. Yes, 3 mil. Looks like we might have to remove the front bumper to access those 2 screws. So I'll go ahead and do that first. I'll say it's good to see that, not Bigod, InMotion is using a lot of the hex screws and very similar size, 3 and 4 mils so far. And they're all identical length. So similar to the patent, how it's kind of convenient because you don't need to keep switching bits, unlike the V11. That's a good plus for repairability. Now, the one thing I will say is you probably will never have to remove this unless your control board breaks. Because you have the battery cables here, you can release your battery packs without removing this. Also, when you're doing a tire change, you can just release the phase wire similar to the Bigode Master T4 EX30 club, and then slide your motor out and do a tire change with everything maintained connected. But for curiosity, let's see what's inside. So the good thing is this control board cover looks pretty clean. You can see that there's a rubber seal that goes around the edge, and you have that lip to protect any water intrusion. The phase wires are hidden down here, and I can see the Raptor controller underneath. So I'm kind of inclined to want to remove this and look underneath. So we have the charge board here, we have the display board, and then this is probably just a main board or Bluetooth board perhaps. It looks like this powers here. This goes to the Raptor controller. So you can see the Raptor controller underneath, similar to the V13. And they've actually packaged it quite tightly. It's kind of interesting that here with the V13 where the phase wires come out, they had that mounting clip, and they didn't happened to shift this back or forward and they left it there, and they could not make this yellow cable point out towards the bottom here, and so it kind of just shoves itself towards the edge of the wall. So you can see how they just reuse this Raptor controller and how they've tried to become more modular with their designs. Recording. So contrary to what Bigot does, they've actually have mounted 2 charge ports onto the charge board here, but they actually have 2 outputs, and they output directly into the BMSs of each side battery pack, which is perfect. This looks really good. You can see how all the boards are sitting exactly in their crevices, and the display actually looks pretty good. It has like your Bluetooth symbol, lock, headlight, error codes, drive, sport, park modes. So let's mount these battery packs similar to the Bigot wheels. The dissimilar thing is actually that these are all 134 volt batteries, whereas Bigot does half and half. So they're 67 volts and they put them in series to make 134. So So after some finagling, you have to make sure that this route's on top and that's on the bottom, and that will allow you to concisely put the cover on. If you flip-flop the connectors, you're having some trouble, just swap the 2 connectors and try to put them in this orientation, and then the cover should go on fairly easily with a bit of pressure. Wow, it's a pretty nice fit. But
We're not going to stick it on for now.
we will stick it on.
We will?
I think so. So the only thing, actually maybe I won't, but the only thing I want to mention is if you do stick this on with a 3M double side tape, when you do a tire change, you're going to have to rip this off. So maybe it might be a good idea to put Velcro instead. If you put Velcro on both sides, then at least you can rip off the one side. The other side, if you like to put 3M double side tape, that's fine. But because you need to remove this battery pack to access that phase wire. So just keep that in mind if you are putting your V14 together. Also, I want to mention that InMotion actually provided a spare set of battery bumpers as well as the front bumpers. So if you did damage them, at least you have one set of spares to begin with, which is a nice touch. Now we got... Are you recording?
Yes.
Oh. So Christine noticed that there's actually this foam on one battery pack. And we thought that maybe we didn't use the correct rear pack, but we checked all the packs and there's only one side that has this foam. So I'm not sure if it's because of the kickstand here, it's to protect it from the kickstand, but then how come the other side doesn't have the foam? Who knows? Mystery. China. Let's screw on the kickstand. So the kickstand, we kind of finagled with it. We're able to get it to line up, but it just seemed a bit off. So between something up here and maybe the battery packs have sides to them, but they weren't labeled. So if you know the answer to this question, let us know. But as with all Chinese products, there's no instruction manual, so we kind of do our best guesswork. I will say that I do like how this kickstand and the mudguard do have really good coverage. I wonder what these holes are for. Maybe there's something in the box. But yeah, let's turn it on and get it off the stand. Grab handle. So it seems like there's a grab handle under the headlight. It's a bit thin, and you can squeeze your fingers underneath the headlight to grab it. Looks like I need my phone to unlock it. So that's a wrap. The BMS is updating. We're updating the firmware, and then this will go back to Bradley at EVs.
Thank you, Bradley. Yeah, thank you, EVs.
Thank you, EVs, for giving us the opportunity to have the first look and putting it together to kind of dissect it a little bit. Hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you when you do your first ride. Mm-hmm. So keep watching, like and subscribe, do the notification bell, and we'll see you next time.